Hey guys! Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this granny square balaclava. The structure of this is super simple. You'll only need 8 granny squares, and then after you sew them together, it will turn into something like this. This is what it looks like from the side. That's the back, and as you can see, it's not as pointy. I initially worked 5 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then when I finished all the squares, I don't think the measurement was big enough, so I added one more round. So I used 5 colors but worked 6 rounds, and the 5 colors are these ones. Also, I used a 6th color to join the squares together. And as to the color arrangement, I've got 3 versions. The first one looks like that, second one looks like that, and this is the third one. And we need 8 squares, so I've got 3 of this, 3 of this, and 2 of this. So these are just my color arrangements, but you can do whatever you want. You can even make all of them in one color. It's totally up to you. So I recorded the video intending to show you the first 5 rounds, but that's before I decided to add one last round. But it doesn't really matter because the pattern from around here, it just repeats itself. So don't be confused if you see squares with 5 rounds later. That's just before I finish the square. The finished square is 6.5 inches, and that is about 16.5 centimeters. But the thing with granny squares is that you can adjust the size very easily. You can just keep adding more rounds if you want it to be bigger, and you can stop earlier if you want it to be smaller. So my yarn is 8 ply. It says that on the yarn label, and every other color I used is about the same thickness. 8 ply is the thickness of the yarn, by the way. So if your yarn is thicker than mine, then each round you make is gonna be bigger. So you might not need 6 rounds to reach the same measurement. You might need just 5 or even 4. So that means you can stop at that point once you reach the desired measurement. On the other hand, if your yarn is thinner than mine, then each round is gonna be smaller. Then you would probably need more rounds, maybe 7 to reach the same measurement. So you can adjust that. You don't have to use the same yarn as I do. Very easy for you to reach the same measurement with the granny square pattern. And by the way, my yarn calls for a 4mm crochet hook, 8 ply yarn, 4mm crochet hook. If your yarn is other weights, meaning it's not the same thickness, then you just follow whatever hook size your yarn label calls for. Okay, so we're going to begin with a slip knot. I make it like this, but if you have a different way to make it, you can do that. Insert your hook in there, make it tighter, and then make a chain of 4. Yarn over and pull it through the loop on the hook. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can't do this yet, you probably need to watch some more basic videos on that specifically. So after a chain of 4, insert your hook in the very first one. You can see 4, 3, 2, 1. So insert in that one, like that. Then grab this yarn, yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it through the one on the hook to make a slip stitch. Okay, now we actually have a little circle. There is a center there. You need to pull this a bit, pull the chains apart to find the center, like that. So now you hold on to that, don't lose it. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2, yarn over, pull through, chain 1 and 2. Now in the center here, we're going to make 2 double crochets. And to make a double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook in this. Okay, now you have a tail here. Make sure it's on your hook like that, because you want to hide it in your work. You don't want to have to weave this in later. So put it on your hook like that and yarn over, pull this yarn through. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2, and yarn over, pull through these 2. Okay, now I want you to put a stitch marker in this stitch, because when we come back, we're going to slip stitch in that stitch. Okay, in the same hole, we're going to make 1 more double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook in the hole. Okay, make sure the tail is on your hook. Yarn over again, pull it through. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, now what we just did is this thing here. So the chain 2 at the very beginning we did counts as a double crochet, and that's the second double crochet, that's the third double crochet. So that's 3 double crochets, and then I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2. Then in the same hole, make 3 double crochets. Yarn over, insert your hook. Pull up. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. If you're having trouble with double crochets, go back to the very first one I showed you, because I did that one pretty slow. Okay, now that I have 3 double crochets, again, chain 2, again, and then 3 more double crochets in the same hole. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up, pull through 2, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 3 again. Okay, as you can see, we've got 3 groups. We need 1 more group like that. So chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets in there. Okay, now I need 2 more chains. You can see something's missing here. I need 2 more chains, so chain 2, and then for this pattern I always slip stitch in the second double crochet here, which is actually the first real double crochet. So you skip this chain 2, which works as a double crochet, but you slip stitch in the middle double crochet here, and that will prevent us pulling this chain 2 away from the other two. I'll show you what I mean. If I slip stitch in the chain 2, the top of the chain 2 here, which is this one, and when you close it off like that, it actually pulls that stitch. And if you want to do like 2 top loops like that, if you want to include this one, it's not very easy to do. See? So that's not easy to do, and if you do it like this, it's gonna pull a big hole there. But if you insert in this one, this middle double crochet, which is marked, and slip stitch, it looks a bit better, like that. Okay, now since we're going to change color, I'm just going to chain 1, leave a little tail, and then cut this. Pull through. Okay, what we did here is this thing. And then when we work the second round with the purple color, it's gonna cover these chain 2s, and you won't be able to see them. Okay, I'm going to take this stitch marker off. The next color is purple. You're going to make a slip knot. Insert your hook in the last chain 2s here, just before the slip stitch. So insert here, and then put the slip knot on your hook, pull it through, and chain 1. Pull it tight. Okay, now that we got the color onto our work, chain 2 as the first double crochet. We're going to begin with this one. So we begin with the corner, but with this, not this. So start from there. So hold the yarn tails like that with your work together. So when you work your stitches, you can hide them in your work. So in the chain 2, I'm going to work 2 more double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook, and make sure you put the yarn tail on your hook. Okay, I'm going to speed up a little bit. So you make a double crochet like that. Make another one in the same place. Double crochet. Between these two, we chain 1. If it's at the corner, we chain 2. So there's a chain 2 between these two, chain 2 here, chain 2 here, chain 2 here. The rest, like these ones, you just chain 1. It's okay if you don't understand yet, just follow me. Chain 1 here. And the next stitch is worked in this chain 2 here. So hold your yarn tails against your work, like that. Yarn over, insert here, pull up a loop, make a double crochet, and then you make 2 more double crochets in there. Carry your yarn tails. That's 1 and 2. Okay, so now we're at the corner here, and I said if you're at the corner between these two, you chain 2. So you chain 2 here and then make 3 more double crochets in this chain 2, in this hole. Okay, so chain 2 because it's a corner, and 3 more double crochets. And that's the corner. Next, chain 1 and 3 more double crochets in there. So once you have like 2 groups here in this corner, you're going to move on to the next corner, and the next corner is going to have 2 groups like that. And there's a chain 1 in between, 3 double crochets in the next chain 2, 1, 2, 3. By the way, if you need to pause the video while working these ones, you can. Okay, that's 3 double crochets. We're at the corner, we need 2 of these here. So that's the first one. And chain 2 because we're at the corner. And then you work 3 more double crochets in there. Okay, now that we have 2 groups, we need to move on to the next one. And because we're not at the corner, you chain 1. Okay, and then 3 double crochets in the next chain 2. Okay, so we need 2 groups in this corner as well. That's the first one, and this is a corner, so chain 2. 3 more double crochets in this. Okay, so after this corner, we need to move on to the next one. So you chain 1, because this is not a corner. And then as you can see, this corner is missing another group. There's one, we're missing one more. So make 3 more double crochets in there. Okay, now we just need a chain 2 to connect these ones. So chain 2, I actually forgot to tell you to mark the stitch, but I hope you're able to tell that is the middle one. That is the chain 2. That's the first, the second double crochet. That's the third. 1, 2, 3. You'll locate the second double crochet and then you insert your hook in the top 2 loops like that, and yarn over, slip stitch, chain 1, and then cut the yarn. So that is the second round done. Now the third round is orange. This color is a little bit more saturated than other ones, but I hope you're able to see it. I hope the first 2 rounds makes it a bit easier to for you to like understand what I'm doing for the third round. So you make a slip knot just like before and insert your hook in the last chain 2 here you did before the slip stitch, and pull this slip knot through, chain 1, pull tight. So the third round looks like that. Again, we're going to begin from this one and then in that order. Okay, we're going to begin with the chain 2. I'm going to remember to tell you to mark the next stitch this time. So 2 double crochets in this hole. Remember to carry your yarn tails. That's the second double crochet. Let me use a different color. Okay, so mark this stitch. The chain 2 is the first double crochet, that's the second double crochet. We need to make one more double crochet in here. 3. Okay, and then you move on to the next hole, and since this is not a corner one, you chain 1 only. 3 double crochets in there. So in this hole, you only have one group of 3 double crochets. The corner ones will have 2 groups. The normal ones will have 1, like that. Okay, so that's one group. You move on to the next hole, which is the corner. But this is not the corner yet, so you chain 1. Make the first group in there. Which is 3 double crochets. Okay, and then you need one more group in here, and this will be the corner. So chain 2. Then 3 more double crochets in here. Chain 1. Only one group of double crochets in this hole, so you just need to make 3 double crochets before you move on to the next space. Three double crochets, chain 1, move on to the next space, 3 double crochets. I feel like I could probably skip to the end of the round, but just in case you need to like double check your work, I'm gonna quickly do this round to the end. So I won't skip, I'll just be telling you what I'm doing. So chain 2 and then 3 double crochets in here. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 3 double crochets in there. Chain 1, 3 double crochets in this corner. Chain 2, 3 double crochets in here, the same hole. Chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets in here, because that's a corner, and we need 2 groups of that. And then you do the same thing as before, chain 2, and then slip stitch in this marked stitch. And this will complete round 3. Chain 1 and cut the yarn. Okay, so that is round 3. The next round is yellow. So slip knot as usual. Attach it to this corner before the slip stitch. We've done this before, so I'm gonna do it a bit quicker. Okay, so attach your yarn like this and chain 2. So this round we have corners like that, but we have like 2 holes in between them. And in these ones, as you can expect, just 1 group in each of that. So I'm gonna do half of the round because it's getting pretty repetitive already. So in the same hole, don't forget to carry your yarn tails always. And you do the first double crochet, the chain 2 and the first real double crochet, and you mark that one, and you do 1 more double crochet in the same hole. Here you would chain 1 and then 3 double crochets in there, and we only need 1 group in there, so just 3 double crochets. That's the second one, and then the third one. Okay, and then chain 1 only, 3 double crochets there. Chain 1. This is a corner, so 2 groups, but you make the first 3 double crochets first. Okay, and then chain 2 because this is a corner, and 3 more double crochets in here. Okay, after that, chain 1, and we are moving on to this edge. That's 3 double crochets in there. By the way, if you think you can finish this round by yourself, feel free to go ahead and skip this part. Chain 1, 3 double crochets here, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Like I said, I'm going to stop at this corner because I'm pretty sure you can handle it from here. And what do you do next? Chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets in there. So you can go ahead and finish this round. I'll see you at the end of it. At the end of it, chain 2 and slip stitch in the middle one, which is marked. Okay, that's round 4. Okay, and then the next one is this pink color or salmon. Okay, I'm gonna get you started, but it's the same pattern with the slip knot. Attach your yarn here, chain 1, pull tight, and chain 2. Start with 2 double crochets in the same hole, and don't forget to mark the middle one. Then you make your 3rd double crochet, and that's your middle stitch marked. Chain 1, and you're just going to work 3 double crochets in there, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, because it's not the corner yet, 3 double crochets, and then chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Did you get that right? If not, let's do it together to here maybe. Okay, so 3 double crochets in there. And then chain 1, 3 double crochets in there, in the next space. Chain 1 again, and 3 double crochets in here. Chain 1 still, 3 double crochets, this is a corner, 3 double crochets, and after that you're going to chain 2, so chain 2, and then 3 more in the corner. Okay, you should be able to pick it up from here. So I'll see you at the end of this round. Okay, just like before, at the end of it, chain 2, 1, 2, and then slip stitch in the marked stitch. Chain 1. So this is round 5. After this round, I added one more round following the same pattern, and this last round I used the same color as the first round. Okay, so I've got 3 color ones, and color 1 looks like this. Here, 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 and then 3 color 2s. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 color 3. And one of them goes on top like that. So I'm going to sew them together first along this line and then like this. And then these 2 actually will go like that as well. So there's gonna be a seam here as well, like that. And then the last color 3 will go at the very front when these are joined, like that. And then one color 3 will go here. Okay, so that's why everything is facing the other way, because I want to show you the structure. But when we join them together, we do that from the right side. So I'm gonna flip these 6 like that. So I'm gonna start joining from there. To join the squares, I'm gonna make a slip knot and then put it on my hook. I'm gonna find the first stitch along this side. Remember, we chained 2 at each corner. That's 2 chains there. So one chain will belong to this edge and the other one this edge. And each stitch will have 2 loops. we're always going to insert in the loop that's near the wrong side, the back of the square. So I'm going to insert my hook from top down in the first stitch in this chain and in the loop that's near the back. And then hold my yarn underneath like that so it stays between the two squares. To make it easier, I'll turn. 2 chains here, go to the one that's closer to this edge, insert your hook in the loop that's near the back. Okay? And then grab your yarn over, and pull it through all 3 loops. Remember to do this gently, don't pull the stitch too tight, because if you do that, the seam won't be as stretchy. Okay, and then you move on to the next stitch on this side first. You insert in the loop that's near the back. Keep this yarn in the middle, and then go to this side, next stitch, insert in the back loop, the loop that's closer to the back, and pull yarn through all the loop. Don't pull too tight. And then you just continue doing this. Next stitch, slip stitch. Next stitch, and slip stitch. So you just continue doing this. Making sure you don't miss any stitches. So make sure your stitches line up. Like these 3 double crochets should be matched with these. So I'll see you at the end of this edge. If you happen to have a slip stitch here, it's gonna be a tiny bit tricky, but all you need to do is just find a loop near the back. So I'm gonna insert in that loop like that, so I still have a front loop, and then insert in the other side. Make sure you place any tails at the back of the work to the wrong side. My last stitch should be one of these 2 chains, this one in the back loop, and this side as well. Slip stitch. And this is what the seam looks like. And then after this, I'm just going to continue to the next seam. So the same thing, the first chain here, this one back loop, make sure your yarn is in the middle, like that. And then this side as well, in the loop that's near the back, and slip stitch. This slip stitch, you pull it a bit tighter, and then you continue from here. And after these 2 squares, you're going to move on to the 3rd pair. I'll see you at the end here. So when you finish the last stitch, just chain 1 and fasten off. And then after that, I'm gonna seam these up. So I'm gonna start from here, go like that, fasten off, and then restart from here, fasten off here. When you're seaming it across, make sure the yarn is at the bottom. So this is wrong, but it's easier to start it that way. Before I get too close to here, I'm gonna put my yarn through so it stays underneath it. And when you finish the last stitch, which is one of the chain ones, you pull this back, and then you just cross this line, go to the first stitch of this seam. Like that. And that's how you get across another seam. And then for the top square, I'm going to start like that, and then rotate this square, do this seam, and then rotate again, do this. And this is what I mean by rotating it. So you finish this seam and then seam these together. So that means you're continuing from the very next stitch, which is a chain one, and the first stitch for this side, which is also a chain one, and then after that you would seam these together like that. So I'll see you when I finish this. So when you finish all that, you should have something like this. The one last square fits here with these two. So go ahead and finish these two seams, and then we just need to do something around here and then at the bottom. So I did this one, and next I'm gonna make one round of single crochet along this edge. So I don't need to fasten off, I can just directly begin from here. After I finish the last stitch, I'm gonna chain one, and then insert my hook in the first stitch, which is a chain one, insert in the back loop, the loop that's closer to the wrong side, and then yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through two. So that's the first single crochet, and then from here I'm going to insert in the back loop of each stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, to make one single crochet in each stitch, like that. So one single crochet in each stitch to the very last stitch, which is the first chain one after these three double crochets. So one single crochet in there, and then I'm gonna add one more single crochet for this seam. I'm gonna insert here and make a single crochet, and then when I go to the next stitch, which is this one, I will carry this yarn to hide it in the work. Around here, this is a corner, so I'm gonna work one single crochet like that. Kind of try to get them closer together. So I'll insert one there, pull up a loop, and one here near the seam, pull up one more loop, and then yarn over, pull through all. And then I can turn and begin from the first stitch for this edge. And then when I get to the end of the round, I'm just gonna work one more single crochet here near this seam underneath. So I will insert my hook here and make one last single crochet and then slip stitch in the first stitch, the first single crochet, which is this one. And then I'm gonna fasten off. So after I fasten off, I'm going to do the same thing here at the bottom, just one round of single crochet along this edge. And for this, I'm gonna begin around the center back. So that will be the center. And just attach my yarn and in the same stitch, work my first single crochet, and then just continue working one single crochet in the back loop of each stitch all the way around. And then when I finish the last stitch, I'll just slip stitch in the first stitch, fasten off, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you next time.